Hey everyone. Excited to dive into something that's been buzzing in the engineering world lately. ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just a tech trend, right? We're seeing real potential for ChatGPT to actually change how engineers work.
Totally. And there's this article just out this week that really got us thinking. It's called Five Ways to Innovate and Optimize Processes with ChatGPT in Engineering by Steves Jr., November 16th, 2024. Really fresh perspective.
Oh, yeah, that was making the rounds. The 5 use cases he lays out are really relevant.
First one that grabbed me was automating technical documents. Ugh, the reports, the specs, the manuals. It's the stuff that can make you want to pull your hair out.
It's the necessary evil, for sure.
Yeah.
But imagine if a good chunk of that could be handled by ChatGPT.
That's what the article suggests. Like, feed it the key data and boom, it drafts the document for you, saving potentially hours of just slogging through the writing.
And it's not even just the time saved, right? It's about freeing up the engineer's brain power to focus on the higher level stuff, the problem solving, the stuff AI can't do.
They give this example. Generating a full report on a plant's energy efficiency just from a prompt. That's wild.
Totally. It shows how this tech can amplify what humans are good at. Not replace, but give them a tool to work smarter.
Okay, next up is brainstorming and creative solutions. This one almost sounds too good to be true. The article says ChatGPT can actually help engineers come up with new ideas.
It's not magic, but it is tapping into a huge amount of data. ChatGPT can make connections that we might miss, like having an AI brainstorming buddy constantly offering new angles.
They talk about using it to figure out how to make a construction project more eco-friendly.
Which is a massive challenge these days, right?
Huge. So let's say you're trying to minimize the carbon footprint of a building. ChatGPT could analyze materials, energy use, construction methods, and boom, it suggests something you hadn't considered.
It's almost like having a whole team of experts instantly giving you input.
Yeah. And then it's the engineer's job to take those suggestions and figure out, okay, what's feasible, what has the most potential, collaboration between human and AI to push the limits. Now, this next one is huge for engineers who are always got to be learning. Staying up to date. ChatGPT as a personalized learning tool.
Makes sense, right? You can basically ask it to explain anything from complex technical stuff to the latest trends, like having instant access to a massive knowledge base.
Like explaining digital twins or the newest sustainable materials. Instead of wading through tons of research, you get a clear, concise explanation.
That's huge GE for busy engineers who don't have all day to read papers. It makes knowledge so much more accessible.
Okay, let's talk workflow optimization. I mean, who doesn't want to be more efficient? The article says ChatGPT can analyze your workflows and actually recommend improvements.
And it's not just guesswork, right? It's analyzing tons of data about your workflow, finding bottlenecks, suggesting solutions that have worked elsewhere.
Love this example they give. Asking ChatGPT how to speed up an assembly line. Imagine it uncovering hidden inefficiencies you hadn't even noticed.
That's the power of it. And it's not just speed. It's about optimizing the whole process, reducing errors, getting better results overall.
So it's like having an AI consultant constantly tweaking things to make your work better. Pretty cool.
Exactly. Like a second set of eyes, constantly looking for ways to improve. Useful for everyone, from newbies to experienced engineers.
Last one from the article is communicating complex ideas. Let's be honest, sometimes engineers struggle to explain technical stuff to people who aren't engineers.
Oh yeah, that's classic. We get so deep in the details that we forget how to translate it into plain language.
And the article says ChatGPT can help with this. It can tailor language for different audiences, clients, investors, even teams from different disciplines.
It's all about the prompts you give it. Tell it who you're talking to and what you want them to get. ChatGPT can adjust the language and level of detail to make sure it lands.
Imagine creating a presentation about automation, but it's perfectly pitched to investors, highlighting the financial stuff they care about.
Perfect example. Or explaining some complex engineering concept to a client who has no technical background. ChatGPT can break it down simply without losing accuracy.
So, these 5 ways from the article got us thinking. Is ChatGPT just a cool new toy? Or is this something that's really going to transform the world of engineering?
I think it's definitely more than a toy. This has the potential to change how engineers work, how they solve problems, how they interact with the world.
It feels like we're at the start of something big and we're just starting to see what's possible.
Yeah, and the exciting thing is it's still so early. We're just scratching the surface of what ChatGPT and AI can do for engineers.
Now, the article focused on the good stuff, the potential. But I'm curious about what's actually happening out there in the real world.
That's a great point. Let's move beyond the hypothetical and look at some research on how ChatGPT is being used right now.
I'm all ears. I'm really curious to see how this technology is being applied in practice and what kind of results engineers are seeing.
Well, one area where we're seeing some really interesting stuff is in structural design, like in civil engineering. There's a recent study, actually, about using ChatGPT for that.
Structural design. That's all about safety and precision, right? Seems kind of risky to bring AI into that.
Yeah, you got to be careful for sure. But this research actually points to some pretty cool possibilities. What they found was that ChatGPT can help engineers quickly generate and test out different design options, and the structures end up not just more efficient, but also safer.
So instead of an engineer taking weeks to come up with different designs, ChatGPT can kind of speed that whole process up.
Exactly. It's like having an AI assistant that can explore all these possibilities, taking into account load-bearing capacity, materials, even environmental conditions. Way more than a human could do on their own.
That's pretty impressive, but how does that actually make things safer?
That's the really interesting part. The study found that ChatGPT can analyze a design and actually spot potential weaknesses. Then it suggests changes to make it more resilient.
Wow, so it's not just crunching numbers, it's actually kind of understanding the principles of structural design and applying them to make safer structures.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even cooler. ChatGPT isn't just following some pre-programmed rules, it's learning from the data it's given, coming up with new solutions that a human engineer might not have thought of.
That's kind of mind-blowing. It's like it's thinking like an engineer. So we've got structural design. What other areas are seeing real results with ChatGPT?
Another one that's ripe for disruption is predictive maintenance
Mhm.
in manufacturing. I saw a fascinating research paper on this just the other day.
Predictive maintenance, so like knowing when a machine's going to break down before it happens.
You got it. Using data to basically anticipate problems and prevent downtime, which can be super expensive. And the research shows that ChatGPT can actually play a key role in this.
How so?
So imagine you've got sensors on all your machines, constantly collecting data, temperature, vibration, performance, all that. ChatGPT can analyze that data and find patterns that might mean a failure is coming.
So it's like having an AI mechanic who's like, hey, this machine needs a tune-up now.
Great analogy.
Yeah.
And the implications are huge, right? Imagine being able to schedule maintenance ahead of time, less downtime, lower repair costs, maybe even make your equipment last longer.
Huge win for any manufacturer. So we've got ChatGPT helping design safer buildings, preventing machines from breaking down. What else?
Well, let's talk about something that affects us all, energy consumption. There's more and more research on using ChatGPT to optimize energy use in buildings.
Okay, this is something I'm really interested in. Always trying to reduce my own energy footprint.
Well, good news. ChatGPT can analyze data on how a building is being used, weather conditions, even energy prices, to suggest adjustments to the heating and cooling systems, the lighting, all that.
So like a smart thermostat on steroids?
Yeah, pretty much. And the savings could be big. Less energy wasted, lower utility bills, more sustainable buildings overall.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we've got ChatGPT making waves in structural design, predictive maintenance, and energy optimization. Any other areas where it's showing promise?
One that's still early days, but has huge potential, is using ChatGPT to design totally new materials.
Wait, hold on. Design new materials, like from scratch.
That's the idea. Researchers are looking at how ChatGPT can process tons of data about existing materials, find patterns, and suggest combinations of elements that could give us materials with specific properties.
Okay, this is where it gets a bit sci-fi for me. Are you saying we could ask ChatGPT to design something stronger than steel but lighter than plastic?
Sounds crazy, right?
Okay.
But the early research is promising. Imagine creating materials that are perfect for the job, whether it's aerospace, construction, even medical devices. Tailor-made materials.
So it's not just about improving how we do things now, it's about opening up a whole new world of possibilities in material science. Incredible.
Total game changer. And it shows how AI isn't just about automating tasks, it's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in engineering.
Okay, so we've talked about all these amazing benefits of ChatGPT, but let's be real for a sec. There's got to be some downsides, right? It can't be all perfect.
You're absolutely right. Huge potential, but got to approach it with a healthy dose of realism.
So what are some of the things we need to watch out for?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is making sure the information ChatGPT gives you is accurate and reliable. It's trained on a massive amount of data, but that data isn't perfect. There might be errors, biases, outdated info.
So it's not some magic oracle. We can't just blindly trust everything it says.
Right. Engineers still need to think critically, double-check the information, use their own judgment. ChatGPT is a tool, not a replacement for human expertise.
Makes sense. Like any new software, you got to learn its limits, its quirks, how to use it effectively.
Exactly. Education and training are going to be key here. Engineers need to really understand how ChatGPT works, what it's good at, what it's not so good at.
Speaking of how it works, I gotta admit, it's still a bit of a black box to me. Like, I give it a prompt and it spits out this amazing text, but I have no idea what's going on under the hood.
Yeah, I get it. It can seem like magic, but let's try to break it down a bit. At its core, ChatGPT is what's called a large language model, and it's been trained on just a massive
Yeah.
amount of text and code.
So it's like it's read every book, every article, every line of code ever written,
Hmm.
and somehow absorbed all that knowledge.
In a way, yeah. And what's really interesting is that it doesn't just parrot back what it's learned. It can generate totally new text, translate languages, write different kinds of creative content, even answer your questions in a really informative way.
Okay, but how does it do all that? What's the secret sauce?
Well, the key ingredient is this powerful algorithm called a transformer. It's a type of neural network that's really good at understanding relationships between words in a sequence, like a sentence or a paragraph.
So it's not just looking at individual words, it's grasping the context, the meaning of the whole thing.
Exactly. And that's what allows ChatGPT to generate text that's not just grammatically correct, but it actually makes sense. It's coherent. It can follow a line of reasoning, make connections between ideas, even adapt its style to different situations.
So when we give ChatGPT a prompt, like asking it to write that energy efficiency report, this transformer network is working behind the scenes to understand what we want and generate a response that fits.
Right. And as it generates each word, it's taking into account the words that came before it, predicting what words are most likely to come next, all while keeping the overall meaning and structure of the text in mind.
That's pretty amazing. But it also kind of reinforces the point that we, as engineers, need to be careful, right? We can't just take ChatGPT's output as gospel.
Absolutely. We still need to apply our own expertise, our critical thinking skills, our understanding of the real-world context to evaluate the information and make good decisions.
It's really a partnership then. Human and AI working together, each bringing their own strengths to the table.
I like that. It's not about AI replacing engineers. It's about empowering them to do more, achieve more.
And that's what makes this whole thing so exciting, right? It's not just about efficiency or automation, it's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in engineering.
Exactly. ChatGPT and other AI tools are giving engineers new ways to solve problems, design solutions, shape the world around us. It's a new era, full of potential.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired, ready to dive in and see what ChatGPT can do for my work.
That's the spirit. And remember, we're just at the beginning. AI is constantly evolving. Who knows what amazing tools will come out in the next few years?
It's definitely an exciting time to be an engineer. And for anyone listening who might be a little hesitant about this whole AI thing, I'd say don't be afraid to embrace the possibilities.
Be curious, experiment, find ways to make these tools work for you.
We hope this deep dive has given you a glimpse into the future of engineering, a future where human ingenuity and AI come together to create a world that's more efficient, more sustainable, more inspiring.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing those boundaries.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep